Here at Freeport-McMoRan, Miami, we strive to do the right thing, the right way, for the right reasons. It is our environmental goal to have zero spills, zero excess emissions, zero wildlife mortalities, and zero policy deviations. It is always best to avoid an environmental incident rather than having to mitigate one. However, if at some point something does happen, this will trigger an environmental occurrence. We must report all spills or releases, as well as excessive emissions, wildlife incidents, or policy deviations. The FCX environmental policy has been updated. The environmental policy is a statement about our environmental position and values. The policy states FCX's overall environmental performance, intentions, and direction as expressed by top management. This includes, but is not limited to, compliance, continuous improvement, and pollution prevention. The Board of Directors, on February 6, 2018, amended the policy, and it can be viewed on the Environmental SharePoint site. In the event of an environmental incident, it is important that you follow the established spill response procedures. Safely and quickly determine if the release is contained or ongoing, and always consider the potential dangers that may exist. If it is safe to do so, take the appropriate actions to control and contain the incident. If it is an emergency or first responders are required, activate the emergency response system by calling 473-7555. Move to a safe area and wait for help. Immediately notify the area supervisor and fellow employees in the area, as well as the environmental hotline at 473-7005. It will be necessary to file an environmental incident report. Two environmental topics we should discuss are pollution and pollution prevention. Pollution, simply put, is the presence or the introduction into the environment of a substance that has a harmful effect. In 1971, the problem of pollution was thrust to the forefront of the minds of every American when the Keep America Beautiful campaign released their PSA featuring Iron Eyes Cody, the Native American actor who shed a tear at what had become a serious problem in America. The campaign slogan was, "People start pollution, people can stop it." It was not long before awareness and responsibility was not only up to the private sector, but up to American corporations as well. Pollution prevention is defined by the state of Arizona as any changes in operational procedures, processes, or management techniques that reduce potential or actual releases of pollutants to the overall environment, such as air, water, or land. This is also known as environmental stewardship. Environmental stewardship is the responsible use and protection of natural resources through sustainable practices in conservation. Each one of us shares this responsibility. Here in Miami, we are also very concerned about air quality. One of two permits that have been issued by the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality regulate all of Freeport-McMoRan Miami operations. Each of these permits limit the production and emissions of contaminants such as sulfur dioxide, oxides of nitrogen, particulate matter, and volatile organic compounds. There are several processes and procedures in place to manage these emissions. Be sure that these processes are being used and used correctly. Concerning stormwater management, our stormwater is regulated by the state of Arizona through the Arizona Pollution Discharge Elimination System. We are permitted under a multi-sector general permit and required to maintain a stormwater pollution plan. Under the Clean Water Act, we are also required to maintain a spill prevention, control, and countermeasure program. Remember that when it comes to wildlife and biodiversity, the taking, harming, feeding, or harassing of any wildlife is strictly prohibited. In addition, all projects associated with undisturbed uplands, reclaimed areas, or freshwater ponds must receive approval through the MOC process and the Environmental Department. There are a number of things that you can do to help. Good housekeeping, proper chemical storage, waste segregation, container labeling, records keeping, aerosol can handling and disposal, and inspections. In closing, remember, this has been a very elevated overview of the Freeport-McMoran Miami Environmental Program. It is the responsibility of each of you to train monthly on the detailed aspects of the program. Monthly presentations for training are made available for you, your environmental team member, and your supervisor by the Environmental Department. The training can be accessed on the Environmental SharePoint page. Your monthly training will need to be documented on a meeting attendance sheet and turned into your environmental team member for tracking. Anytime that you are unsure about an environmental process, anytime you have any environmental questions or concerns, you should contact someone from the environmental group at 473-7005 for guidance.